We got a special edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum, our championship football edition, Coach.
And well-deserved for the Blue Hawks. That was a very good game that they played Saturday at Bill Ball Stadium.
That was quite a win, and we got a big matchup coming up at UNH. I want to get your take not only on the game that we just saw, but what's coming up. The Blue Hawks will be going to UNH on Sunday night at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Sunday night for the big championship game against Londonderry. So what's your take on first the game we just saw this weekend and then what's coming up?
Well, my big thing first, before I get into that, is your voice going to hold up after 3 games?
Yeah, Sam Bruno and I will be there on Sunday for all 3 championship games, and we'll review those in a few minutes. But the big one is I'll have my tea and honey, believe me.
Okay.
So I'm ready for 6 o'clock.
There you go. Well, first of all, I was impressed with Merrimack. Merrimack came in with a good game plan. They came in eager to atone for what happened to them the last time they played. If you don't know, Exeter, the 3rd game of the season, defeated Merrimack 41-7 in a game that everyone thought was going to be a lot closer, but wasn't. And after watching their big tight end, and I forget his name, but Merrimack's big tight end, who seemed to be the center of everything, he obviously was injured the last time we played because he did not impress anyone watching that.
The first game.
The first game.
Yeah.
The second game, he certainly did. He was everywhere. He, played on the perimeter as a defensive end. He was an offensive end. At times, he'd shift into the backfield on short yardage. He basically was a do-it-all, as opposed to the South tight end from the week before, who was primarily a blocker, did a heck of a job as a blocker, but that was his claim to fame. So if he goes on to higher level football, they might make him a tackle, as a good example. But I was very impressed with that. I thought the Blue Hawks, they swarmed to the football, number one. Number two, offensively, I thought the key play, honestly, happened early in the game when they hit that pass. The pass to McDonald for the touchdown early on, because the Blue Hawks play better when they're ahead than if they're behind. And that was it. They established the fact that they were going to go ahead. Boy,
smash mouth football.
Smash mouth football, and it was. But what they did is, and I forget the coach's name, but the coach said, geez, it seemed like that was the quickest game we've played all year. Because I thought the spread and the no huddle can be beneficial when you have momentum and you're driving down the field, because it puts constant pressure on the defense. But when you go 3 and out, the spread or the no huddle, the hurry up, is your worst enemy, because you're playing defense the whole game, especially against a ball control offense like the Blue Hawks.
Now, we're moving into a team that so far has an undefeated season, the Londonderry Lancers.
Right.
I did do a little homework. I watched the film, so to speak.
Whoa.
I watched their coverage. And first, before I get to that, I want to congratulate you and Jeff, your son, for the coverage you do for the Blue Hawks here on EXTV and the Channel 13 and YouTube. You're on YouTube now, you're on Facebook, you're everywhere.
Jeez,
but you guys do a great job. I watched their coverage of their game against Salem. Okay, I'll get to that later. I just want to mention the key players. Their quarterback, McEachran, He's a running quarterback, does everything from the shotgun. Nothing under center that I saw during that whole game. Their running backs, they've got a fellow by the name of Wiederfeld, I believe they keep calling him JW in the video, and Kale, there's another running back by the name of Kale. They are effective, no doubt about it, especially this JW. There's a couple of tight ends, one tight end, I'm sorry, Rosen, I think is his name. He also is a wide receiver, but the one that we have to look out for is number 11, Cole Keegan, their wide receiver. So I guess what I'm asking is, now we're dealing with, and they call all the plays from the sideline. I know all plays come from the sideline, but they look to the sideline for every play. There's not like Ryan Grijalva comes over, talks to Coach Ball, gets the call, goes back to the huddle.
Right.
This is, they look over, get the signal, go for the play. It's all from the shotgun. So how do you work a team like that?
Well, I think we've seen quite a few teams like that, haven't we?
Yeah, I not probably as consistent. They were
Right.
totally from shotgun.
Right, and South was totally from the shotgun. The team last week, Merrimack, ran totally from the shotgun. They never put the quarterback under center. The quarterback wasn't as much of a running threat last week.
Right, that's where I guess you use that as your advantage.
And, perfect example of that is, I'm not worried about how they're going to defend them. I'm thinking, how are they going to defend us? Ryan Grijalva is a running quarterback.
Oh, for sure. He's not afraid to run.
He gained
forward.
a lot of key yardage.
Right.
And you know what? He's an intelligent running quarterback.
Correct.
And that when he gets near the sideline, it doesn't become a macho thing.
Right.
He uses his intelligence and avoids the big hit and gets out of bounds. So how are they going to control our ball control offense? I think we've already seen that if you now Merrimack last week put 9 people in the box. They played a 4-5 with 2 deep.
Okay, yeah.
Or a 5-4 with 2 deep. Either one, okay? How many people are you going to put in the box? Exeter has shown that they are not completely one-dimensional. Grijalva can throw. Grijalva can throw deep. He's willing to check down. You've got to get the ball out of Exeter's hands. You allow them to go on those time-consuming drives, that game gets shortened in a hurry, and especially where you're running the hurry up and the spread, trying to maximize how many offensive snaps, you got to keep those chains moving too.
Strategy-wise, go back to that video I watched of Londonderry, their announcer. He was saying that, and he was being complimentary, he wasn't being sarcastic. He was saying that basically Exeter has 8 plays and they run them to perfection. It's
Right.
probably, but I'm saying he said it in a positive way. He was saying that when Bill goes out and gets his teams fired up and the game plan, they know what they're doing. They're not just improvising on the spot.
Correct.
And now my question, I guess, was, what do you think? Do we do a lot of running to start the game off, or do we look for that Hail Mary pass at the beginning, or what? I think Londonderry, my own personal, I'm going to go out on the limb here. I think they're going to look for a first strike. If they get the ball first, they're going to be throwing the ball up in the air for their first play of the game.
Okay, yeah, and so it's up to again, at this point in time, you're going to go with what got you to where you are.
Oh, to the dance, okay. Yeah.
Londonderry was considered the prohibitive league favorite to win the whole thing. They had so many people coming back. They had the best athletes coming back. Exeter was not considered in the upper echelon of those teams. The doubters have proven them wrong. So what it boils down to is, I agree, they're gonna try and make Exeter play from behind. That's a weakness with what we do. But Exeter's very well prepared. Coach Ball will come out, and how is he going, what is his first play gonna be? I have no idea. Do I think he knows? I think he has an idea, but you know what? He's gonna see how you're gonna defend him. Where are the tackles lined up? How many people do they have trying to stop the trap inside? That's the play that Edmundston runs so well. How many people do they have off tackle? How many people do they have on the outside? Do they fast flow? So are they going to be susceptible to the counter? Can we toss them? So
you think he'll feel the other team
I
out
think
first?
he's
He's not going to come out and do a Hail Mary to start the game off.
No. And I think Coach Ball saw something last week early with that many people, by what I mean by in the box, close to the line of scrimmage, designed to stop the run. So he's going to look and see what the deal is. Are the safeties cheating up? Is that something that they're not paying attention to McDonald, so they can throw the deep ball on play action, which is how we run it? So that's the key. Defensively, they're going to be very assignment oriented. That is the key to Coach Ball and Coach Swazinski's defense. They always know their responsibility and their job. They know what they're supposed to do. And it's so much easier as a player if I tell you, Sherm, you're my defensive tackle. This is your responsibility.
Right, your turf.
Right,
Protected
you
at all costs.
own this.
Yeah.
And so if everyone knows their job, I would assume, since Londonderry has been successful, that they're going to be the same way.
Now the DBs are going to be busy, and,
Yes,
the
they are.
linebackers obviously,
Yeah.
because they like to go up the gut. And this McEachran kid, who is their quarterback, if he gets a chance to run, he's going to go right up the center. I didn't see any sideline stuff from him. One time on a busted play, yeah, and that got him a lot of yards. Actually got him a touchdown. So the DBs will have to be watching out for this Cole Keegan, and I mentioned the other fellow's name. I think his name is Rosen. Those are their wideouts, and that's going to be a busy day.
Yeah. You know, I don't really think, I think at this point in time, you know, if their athletes are superior to ours, then most likely they're going to win. If our athletes are superior to theirs, then most likely, you know, when you're dealing with football, each individual battle is important. Is our nose guard going to handle their center? Is he going to control both the A-gaps to both sides? Or is he going to need help? If he needs help and we have to fill with a backer over and over again, then that's going to weaken different parts of our defense.
Okay.
So you've got 11 individual battles that will be
Right.
going on in that field, and whoever wins the majority of those battles is going to win the game.
Chess match.
It is.
Classic chess match.
It is.
Boris Spassky versus name of the
Bobby
player.
Fischer.
Bobby Fischer.
There you
correct,
go.
yeah. Well, we'll go run down the list of who's playing on Sunday, Championship Sunday for the NHIAA. They start off the games, well, it starts at 11 in the morning, so it's an early
There you
morning.
go.
Late.
Does Sam function well at 11? in the
Oh
morning?
yeah, we're really
You're
up.
a high tech.
We're
Yeah.
hyped up and ready to roll. And that game is 11 o'clock. It's Lebanon versus Trinity, the Raiders versus the Pioneers. New teams into the tourney this year, these two teams. That game should be exciting. Trinity, like I say, is this, I think, first time in a long time for them to be in the tourney. So
Trinity's program was in trouble. Their program, because of numbers and not having a place to play, I believe if you saw the thing on Channel 9, they now have a new facility for football, for their outdoor activities. So where they didn't really have a place to call home, they kind of do now, and that's helped put some pride back in their program. So Trinity, boy, they were pretty close to losing their program.
And so this will be a good way to bounce
Yeah.
back and prove that they're for real and there to stay. The second game, the Division II game, that's Hollis Brookline, the Cavaliers taking on the defending champion. They're looking for a three-peat, the Plymouth Bobcats. Now that's an interesting matchup.
Boy, yeah, and do you know the record of Plymouth? Do you know Plymouth's record? I don't think they're
I don't have it right here, but
I don't think they dominated.
This year they didn't have a dominating season, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Plymouth has all kinds of tradition. Lenahan, who was the coach in years past, is a legend in football. They have tradition. So many players. I believe the head coach now played under Chuck Lenahan. Boy, I would have to put Hollis Brookline has kind of come out of nowhere. They're a program that I believe a couple of years ago was in Division III. And now they've progressed to the point in Division II. I don't know. I would be very surprised myself if Plymouth loses.
And that would be, like I say, a three-peat. And of course, the big game, the one that interests a lot of us around here,
Yes.
coming up at 6 o'clock at Wildcat Stadium. The Londonderry Lancers trying to go for a perfecto, but the Exeter Blue Hawks are in their way. I just had a quick 2-minute drill. First off, I should ask, do you have something you would add to our show today?
I don't really.
I mean, you've done such a great job all season long. I mentioned it earlier that I congratulate, again, you and Jeff on your coverage of the Blue Hawks all season long. You guys really get into it and do it right.
Well, we try to, and I thank you for the kind words. I do know it really helps. If those of you who don't know, my son is Jeff Taylor. He's the freshman football coach at Exeter High. So he played for Coach Ball and Coach Eustace at Exeter. He played football there. He knows the game. And so it helps when you're working with someone who really knows the football game and can pick up
The nuances.
the nuances of the game.
And also shout out to fellow helps
Doug
you out,
York.
Doug York.
Who allows
does all the
us to
production
do
on
it. Yes.
your games. And also another name that helps you out once in a while is Rich Kane.
He does. Coach Kane
Coach
is
Kane.
the same. He's one of the freshman football coaches at Exeter High School. And also a shout out to Rusty Lister, who has done some great things up there too.
It's a work in progress, and it gets better every year, and you guys get better every year, just like a fine wine.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, okay. But one thing I did have one disappointment, and it has nothing to do with you. It's Channel 9. A couple of things. I wish that there was a way they could broadcast this Super Sunday on I know they will never put it on Channel 9 because there's a lot of money involved in the ABC programming, but they have MeTV. And I'd love to see them take those 6 hours of Gilligan's Island reruns and put them aside and put the championship games on. That would be kind of cool.
Well, geez, I don't know. I'm kind of worried whether or not Bob Denver got rescued.
He did. He did. And it would be nice to see that happen. It probably never will in my lifetime, but
Okay, just so you know, Sherm, it
Okay.
did take place in your lifetime.
I did.
Yes, Channel 9 did televise the Division I only final in football for a year or two. At the time, the Exeter Blue Hawks were Division II, so we were not on air.
I stand corrected.
But it was on, the Division I final was on Channel 9, and they did televise it. It was earlier in the afternoon,
Yeah.
but they did do it.
Well, see, if they did the big game at 6 o'clock, they'd have to preempt either Kojak or Barnaby Jones. So that would probably hurt a few feelings there.
Yeah, well,
Can't miss them Barnaby Jones reruns.
Well, the key is that as long as Gilligan got off the island, that's all I
Gilligan
care
got off the
about.
island. You had the Harlem Globetrotters come back to the island, if you remember. And one other thing I just wanted to mention about Channel 9. To Jason King, please, it's Brian Grijalva. The J is silent, okay? If I hear Ryan Gralva, or however he pronounces it one more time, I'm going to scream. It took me a while. It did take me a while. I had checked it out, but Grijalva, not
Yeah.
Grijalva, please. All right, that's it. I had to get that off my chest, and we shall see you all, I hope, Sunday, Super Sunday, the NHIAA football finals for 3 divisions, including our Exeter Blue Hawks at 6 o'clock against the Londonderry Lancers. We want to see you there. And for the coach, Bill Taylor, I'm Sherm Chester. Join us next time for the Seacoast Sports Forum, a special edition with Megan Young, the championship soccer coach of the Exeter Blue Hawks. The GOAT, yeah, the greatest of all time. We'll see her next week on the Seacoast Sports Forum.